Good evening, Vector's Vision fans, and tonight, round two of season 4 in the Indy Car Series, sponsored by Southeast Tutoring. And like I said, we're going to keep that little swing going. We're going to stay in Florida. We are at Daytona. We're going to be on the road course. Normally, IndyCar starts on a road course. We did a little opposite. We went to Homestead, a mile and a half. We saw a lot of action. But now we're on to the road course. And tonight, in the booth with me is actually none other than Morgan Cook, who actually got our sponsor on board. So, Morgan, good evening, and how are you?
I am doing great, Adam. Thrilled to be here to watch the largest field this league has ever seen on the hallowed Daytona Road Course.
And you've been paying attention to a lot of these guys and looking at some numbers and stuff like that. So tonight, how many laps do we have, and what do you expect to see tonight?
That's a great question, Adam. We have a 42-lap race in front of us. Lap time should be about a minute and a half, so about an hour show we're looking at here, barring calamity, of course. Should be 2 stops. Need to use one of each compound, red and black. Yeah, lots of more tidbits to come out throughout the race, but this should be a fun one.
Yeah, you can't spill all your nuggets before the race starts, but just so everybody is aware, how this works is these guys, if there is any contact, they will have the opportunity to go to a backup car. You get that one time during the race. You will have to try every compound. And then other than that, with it being a road course, there actually is no cautions unless an admin deems necessary. So a total collapse, say most likely in the infield through the actual road course itself. But other than that, we're going to stay green. So this is going to be a pretty constant, non-stop race where the only stoppage you'll see is when the cars need to get those fresh Firestones and top off with some fuel. And how many stops are you thinking you'll see tonight? And is there a certain method maybe to the madness of what compound you start the race on?
Yeah, I'm thinking 2 stops tonight will probably be the ticket. We have 3 sets of tires, so you could do a third one if you wanted to. I don't see the benefit in it though. And as far as the strategy goes, I'm not really sure until we get the first 5 laps down. I think then we'll be able to tell where you should be in terms of tire strategy.
Yeah, Morgan, and I brought it in a little bit earlier when I reeled in the sponsor yet again for the
Right.
second series now, and you might know a thing or two about old Southeast Tutoring.
I do, as I am the owner and founder of Southeast Tutoring. I am the sponsor, Adam. No, I really appreciate Garrett letting me sponsor these 2 leagues and a little mutually beneficial deal we got going on here.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're happy to actually have a name to put on the trophy that we give at the end of the season. In case you haven't been watching, we have the Truck Series, who's had the sponsor the majority of the time. Almost halfway through the season, we gained the sponsor, and well, we're kind of coming to the end on that. Just a little sneak peek into what is to come next Monday. There is a truck championship that we're going to be crowning, and you might be racing for SET championship.
Might be racing. I am racing for that championship, Adam. Myself, Sean Langdon, Garrett, and Ross, who are all 3 of them are in this race, will all be going for that championship on Monday night. So make sure to tune into that if you're a fan of truck racing on those mile and a halves. Should be a great show.
Are you a gambling man by chance?
Well, I try not to be, but the statistician in me says sometimes you have to.
And especially if you're in Vegas, you kind of have to be part of that poison of gambling to maybe win a championship on Monday.
Yeah, with the way the strategy has worked out in that series all year, there'll have to be some risks taken for sure. You cannot win that race by laying back and being conservative. I'm quite excited for it.
Yeah, and last week at Homestead, reeling it back into what we are currently watching, which is the Indy Car Series tonight. Luke Daniels got it done in a very up and down day for a lot of those drivers, where we saw a lot of flip flopping and where like Sean Langton and Matt Brewer coming up just a little bit short by putting their car in victory lane, but they did at least get a podium. What did you see last week?
Well, I saw a lot of pit road last week. I was in the race, and it was not my best effort. Self-spun early in the race. I had contact later in the race, so spent most of it a lap down. But it was challenging, definitely out there. I could never quite figure out the line, and I just passed on both sides. I saw the leaders a lot.
That's not something you want to see if you want to be racing for a. Well, if I should reword that because that is something you want to see if you're on the lead lap. But if you
Right.
see the leaders passing you, you don't feel as good about it.
No, that's not what you want to see. No, it was an all right race, definitely from my chair. I hear it was pretty good on the broadcast. I watched it back the following day, and yeah, you and Garrett put on a pretty good broadcast there.
I do my best. I try to put a good product out there, and it takes very little preparation, to be honest with you. So I can't take a ton of credit, but hey, I make it work.
Yeah,
But
well, it shows. It shows that it's a good show there. Looks like we're gridding up here, ready to see some fireworks under the lights.
yeah, and we saw. I did not throw it live because it's hard to cover the qualifying when it's a group set like that. But we did see Austin Saar. He puts it on pole. He ran what you kind of predicted. You kind of thought it'd be a higher, like a 130.6 and up, but he puts down a flyer at a 130.3. So he'll be on pole. Sean Langton in the 7 will be right behind him. He did run that time that you predicted, but it just wasn't good enough. He's about 2/10 back. Matt Brewer, we've seen him be a champion before and pretty dominant in this Indy Car Series. He'll be in 3rd. Luke Daniels, he'll be in 4th. In 5th, you have Scott Segrist. 6, Sam Hines. All the Sam Hines followers out there. He knows. He's been talking about it, pretty excited about it all day. So he knows y'all are out here, and he appreciates that support. Levi also bringing out some viewers tonight. He'll be starting that 7th position. And William Brennan in 8th, followed closely by Chris Freeze. I'll call him that. Brian Edwards in that 3, wrapping up that top 10 for you. But you already see they're moving. They're double all the way back. Hopefully this is the only start we see kind of like this. Well, it is the only start, but the only restart in this kind of format you'll see right here. But we
Yeah,
gotta
more
wait.
than likely. Sorry, Adam.
No,
More than
you're
likely,
good.
the only caution we'll see is if they all barrel off in turn 1 and don't make it out. So hopefully they can keep it straight here.
So we're going to be messing with some of these camera angles. TV2, which is the one you're seeing currently, feels like the best one, but we're waiting for those famous words of green flag is out, and away we go from Daytona on the road course. Already, you see Austin, pretty comfortable lead going into 1. It looks pretty calm, cool, and collected as they make their way through the turns in the middle. Everything seems fine right now. Still hold my breath on that. We have 1 car off. Pretty good save. He keeps it
They're
pointed.
wrecking in the back. Looks like Ankenbauer's around. He's off track in 2. Another car off track, exiting 3. Looks like we are all rolling, though.
Yeah, Sam Hines already with a little trouble. He kept it pointed in the right direction. So he's still rolling. We're going to go back up front, check out these leaders. Maybe. Pretty single file all the way back. Sean Langton and Matt Brewer. Looks like they flopped positions there for that 2nd and 3rd. So maybe Matt has something for the leader. He looks a little bit more dominant already. Looks really, really smooth through that back
You know what
stop
that is,
area.
Adam? That's those red tires. They are really, really fast for 2 laps. So he's got to make hay right now.
So we'll see if he can make ground here. He's going to peek to that outside, coming to the line to start lap 2 of our scheduled 42. He doesn't quite make that pass as they make their way into that 1, 2. Looks like he's got a little bit more grip right now to maybe try to peek on that left side there. Just not the preferred area to make the pass, but he's got more grip. He kind of dives it in there. See how good his exit is. He's going to make that pass. So Matt Brewer's going to take the lead on lap 2 from Austin Saar. What did you see there? Is that just those red tires you were talking about on those reds? Just able to make a big, bold move on the outside like that?
Yeah, that's just acceleration on more grip. I look for Austin to come back here in the next 2-3 laps to be able to challenge him back on those blacks, as the reds will wear out pretty quickly.
And I'm not seeing a whole lot of reds behind. I'm seeing a lot of that black compound that we're discussing, and at least the 3 behind Matt are on that black compound. So, like you said, give him a couple laps, and they might be just as even as Matt. Maybe Matt just wanted that clean air, so he started on a different compound.
Yeah, I've heard from a few people that after halfway through a run, the blacks are 1 second to 2 seconds faster than the reds. That's just how bad those red tires wear.
And already, you see Austin. He's kind of peeking to that outside. Matt preferred line into 1. Will keep hugging a really tight apex there compared to the cars behind him. But it looks like Austin's able to get a little bit more track with his brakes compared to Matt.
We got 3 wide for 4th coming out of turn 2.
And they're still 3 wide.
Levi wisely backs out of it, or that would have been all 3 of them in the grass.
Pretty wise for them to do that.
Oh, a big wreck behind him. 3-car crash. Someone ran to the back of Brennan. Edwards was involved as well.
Yeah, you see Edwards here. You got another one going through the grass. Looks like that was Sam again. Let me verify. It was Sam. He's trying to get it pointed the right direction. I don't see a lot of damage unless there's a toe issue.
Yeah, that was Mario, William, and Brian who crashed on the entrance of, I think that's the International Horseshoe, that one.
See, the 5 looks like he might be coming out of pit road. And I don't know if Ryan pitted. I can verify that in a moment. Did he start on pit road, maybe?
I think he was caught up in one of those self spins on lap 1. Looks like he's 1 lap on his tires. Everyone else has 3.
So we go back up front, and Matt Brewer has fallen like a rock. I have no idea. He is stuck in the back. I don't know if he connected out or what.
Let me go investigate that for you, Adam.
He is.
Oh, he's stopped on the bus stop, actually.
Yeah, it looks like that car is toast. Doesn't mean he's out of it, but contention for the win most likely is out of it. He can't even get it going. He's probably just going to tow and get that replacement car.
He's gone now.
Probably
well, that's not what I was expecting.
I was not expecting that either with the bold move he made. But then I saw that he was being passed by everybody on that relative ticker you see on screen there.
He just spun on his own while leading coming out of the bus stop.
Is there a big bump in that bus stop? Is that something we could see when the runs get a little bit, I don't know, longer? The longer the run goes, the hotter the compound becomes. Is that something you could see with some bumps maybe, especially on that back bus stop?
The bus stop is rough. Old tires, new tires, the car bounces quite a bit. You can really see it on I believe it's TV1 or TV2, where like the splitters or the wings bouncing off the ground, and he just caught a bump wrong, and into the fence he went. Tough break for our leader at that time.
You know who is really excited about it, and that's going to be Austin now back in front. Your pole capture was by Austin, so he sees clean track in front of him, but he can't get too comfortable with the likes of Levi and Sean right behind him. We've seen them. Well, Sean's first IndyCar race with us was last week, and we saw him go out there and show that, well, there's another spin.
Oh, Sar's around.
Yeah, so there goes the leader. He just got loose. Maybe hit a bump and came around.
I find that this corner, exit at 2, is one of the hardest places to accelerate on this track. It's like a non-stick fry pan out there. You're really, really easy to spin.
I think a lot of people are going to understand that little metaphor you just threw at us. And it looks like he's able to kind of get it going. He's got to cool those tires back down. That's one thing in IndyCar. If you spin out, man, you're wrecking loose for probably the next, I don't know, 20 seconds.
Yeah, you got to take it easy for sure. You'll light those rear tires up again and again and again and just compound your issue.
So Sean Langton, who I said that Austin needs to be worried about what's behind him, and maybe he was doing a little too much rearview mirror driving and ends up making a little mistake. And right there you see Levi. Does Levi actually make it? Yes, he does lead lap 5. So on lap 6, he takes the lead from Sean Langton, who never technically captured the lead because he never made it back to the line. But he was out in front at the time. And Levi is kind of putting on a clinic right now.
Yeah, and these top 4 have driven away from 5th place, who is 9 seconds back at the line. That's Ross Phillips, who's made his way forward throughout this race. He started 12th up to 5th.
Right here, you see we're riding with Scott Segrist in the DHL IndyCar scheme. He's on that red compound. I think he's the only one in that top little foursome we got way out front. You see that on screen. Scott's actually about 4 seconds back of Levi. And then you have a big gap back to Ross, as you were talking about. But Ross has made some moves. Ross, starting in that 12th position, is now running in 5th. And you got to think his mindset was just have a clean start and have the race fall to me.
Yeah, I definitely know. Like I spend quite a bit of time talking to Ross. We're teammates in the Truck Series and IndyCar Series for that matter as well. He's not quite as comfortable in these IndyCars as he is in the trucks. So he's just kind of trying to feel it out and just keep the car in one piece. And you can see right here he's moving over to let Segrist go by, it looks like. Smart move by a pretty smart driver.
And, you kind of wonder, we've seen him in the Truck Series all year. His second race in this league, I don't know if he's done or has had a ton of experience in this IndyCar. He's just going to let more cars go by him. He's just probably trying to figure out this car still. This is his first road course with us in the Southeast Tutoring Season 4. So he's just still trying to figure out how these cars drive.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a pretty decent handle on it. I mean, we are talking about the top 6 here, and it looks like he's kept it on the island. One car goes off right behind him. I think that's Beru Bay. Yeah, it's we got a pretty good race going on here for what is that? The 5th spot. 4 cars under a blanket with is that Ian Wilson in tow behind him? Looks like.
Yeah, Ian Wilson is in tow, and you see Austin. He's kind of there on that screen, right above that iRacing.com. Now at the top of your screen. And he's kind of made a little bit of a recovery here. I think he fell just outside the top 10, and he's kind of reeled it back in to run about that 8th position. Steve may have helped him out a little bit getting off track.
I think the good news for Austin is when he spun off of 2, I don't think he got any damage. He was just in the grass. So as long as you get those tires cleaned off, really shouldn't be any adverse effects to that car, like wing damage or whatever have you.
Is there a chance the tires may have lost a couple laps with a spin like that, or do you think it's pretty minimal wear added to the tires on a soft spin like that?
I believe he's on black, so they're pretty durable tires. He might have lost a lap at the very back of the run, as it looks like Christopher Fries is off track. But I don't think that's really going to hurt his race, other than the track position he lost.
Don't think it was Fries. It may have been, I don't think it was Scott. I wish there was an easier way of figuring out who that was. The 138. No.
Oh, it's Joey, sorry.
It was Joey, yeah. But he's still pointing in the right direction. You saw he got a little sideways there, kind of messing with those rumple strips that you see all along this track. But he gets rolling, and he's still sitting pretty in that It says 6th, but I think he'll drop back to about 9th here. Because I think that's Ian Wilson in front of him. And then there's a massive gap. Way behind them. The top 9, about 14 seconds. And then all the way back in that top 10, 48 seconds back, is the 14. That's going to be Kyle Stewart. He's got a pretty bright Menard scheme cooking. I was trying to wonder if he might have had a little bit of pressure, but out behind him is Sam, who we've talked about a little bit. Had a little bit of issues earlier in this race. I think 2 of them got off track twice. And then back here, the 11, that's Charlie Hamilton.
I believe this is Charlie's debut in the Southeast Tutoring Indy Car League. I think he actually just joined us right before this race started. So welcome to him. Looks like he's having a pretty solid opening race. And hope he sticks around for quite a while.
And speaking to the amount of drivers we have in here for a road course in the Indy Car Series, you have a little nugget you wanted to spill, maybe sprinkle to all the viewers out there.
Yeah, this is the largest field that the Indy Car Series has ever had. The Southeast Tutoring Indy Car Series in Season 4. Very excited. So we had 21 drivers here today. That is pretty impressive, I must say. It's usually hard to get guys to come out for these road course races. The ovals are really popular, but road courses not so much.
Well, in the IndyCar, the way the drafting works and the way tire wear kind of works, everybody's almost on a level playing ground when it comes to ovals. I wouldn't say it doesn't take talent. It's still a talent-based thing, obviously, but it feels like everybody has a little bit more of a chance in those ovals compared to 100% strategy and driver talent on these road course races.
Yeah. Like this one, for example, I think it's got 13 corners versus the oval's got 4. I mean, the math kind of speaks for itself right there. That's more braking points, more apexes, more things to go wrong, harder to pick it up. So a lot of guys don't want to put in the time to get good at road courses as much as they do ovals. Got a car off track in between the 2 horseshoes there. But pretty good battle here up front. Got 3 cars within a second and a half of each other.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're going to sprinkle in Luke Daniels, I know he's sent about 2.5 seconds back, but if Levi and Sean get to racing really hard against each other, it could really just reel Luke right back up there, and he's right back in contention. Not that he's out of contention now, but he would be able to reel him up real quick, as he's already knocked it under 2 seconds.
Yeah, it is. That's the race right there, those top 3. Segris is still in it, don't get me wrong. Anything can happen here, and he could still pull out a win. But he's getting to the point where he's going to have a pretty good strategy to be able to make up enough time to catch those 3 in front of him.
You see Levi going to follow behind Sean Langton. We got to wonder, maybe he's been pushing that harder compound a little too hard here and maybe losing a little grip earlier. Well, I say that, then he kind of reels Sean right back in. And like I was saying about Luke, Luke's in it now. He's underneath that blanket with him now. It's kind of weird to say, and that I think about it, and it came out of my mouth. But he's joined that party up front.
Yeah, he has, and we are slowly catching lap traffic. We have Ryan Depew not too terribly far in front of this group. He'll get out of the way here. I'm almost certain of it. But still, the top 3 cars are very close together.
And then there's a little bit of a cushion back to Scott Segris. And then about 2 seconds behind him, there's a battle. There's a 3-way battle. That's going to be Chris Fries, Ross Phillips, and Austin back here. Let me pull up one of them for you. Well, I thought maybe bugged out a little bit here. They're semi-close. They do have a chance at a battle here. Any slip-up, Ross can catch Austin as Austin's made it around Ross. Or if if Chris makes a little bit of a slip up here, Austin's reeled right back in. He's made his way up. He was sitting about ninth. That there's a little mishap. He's made up 2 spots since then to make it up to that 7th position. He's probably just waiting for some new tires and get a fresh start.
Yeah, and when he comes to the line, he'll be scored in 6 as he just passed Ross. And Ross dives to pit road. I think that's our first taker.
Let's go down here and see what he does and what compound he might switch to. He does have to make a change. That is one of the rules. So we assume he would make his compound change here. Just a little bit early in the run to fully know. Yep, he makes that switch. So away he goes.
So he's got reds on now. I believe he was on blacks to start. Is that right, Adam?
Correct. Yes, he was on that harder compound of those
Right.
blacks.
So as soon as he completes this lap, he will have satisfied the rules to complete 1 lap on each compound. So no DQ for him. That is the penalty for not taking each compound is a DQ. No points scored for you. So yeah, hopefully he can make up some time here.
So we'll see. Just make sure he makes it these first couple turns where the tires are a little bit cooler. Kind of goes
And
off
he's
track.
off track. Yeah, and into the fence. That's definitely not going to help this car turn any.
Yeah, I stayed with him just in case. I wasn't assuming he was going to do it, but he's run into all kinds of mechanical issues. I think he's going to end that one right there. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is unfortunate to see for sure.
Let's get back up here, see if Sean is still kind of pulling away, starting his Sunday early with a little bit of a cruise. Levi might have something to say about it, but he's fallen back to about a second and a half. It kind of runs around there, and Sean goes a little too aggressive. Levi, with a big O cast out, starts to reel him back in.
That was a terrific save by Sean. That thing should have been around, certainly.
Yeah, you saw that back end kind of step out where he locked up the fronts. The rears were not going to stop, and he almost went around. So a massive save by Sean Langton to the fact that he's in first. That just comes down to just how talented he is and how much talent he keeps showing us week in and week out, no matter what the series is or what the type of course he's on.
Yeah, I believe we call those guys wheelmen. He can just drive anything. He's in the championship for the Truck Series. He is fighting for the lead in the Indy Car Series. Guy can just flat out drive.
And these 3 up front, and like Sean Langton, again, goes right around the outside of Levi. Levi to defend, just help back in line, is actually going to get passed. So Levi is going to get, he's actually going to drop 2 positions in the matter of, I don't know, what would you say, 200 yards or so? Happened pretty quick.
That's about right. Yeah.
So Sean Langton takes the lead back, but now we have a new man with his eyes set on that P1 position, Luke Daniels. And he's looked like he's had the cleanest race of everybody on track so far. Sean Langton, a little bit of an issue. Levi lost a little speed there. And it just looks he's really smooth. So maybe Luke can make a move in a lap or 2.
Yeah, looking at a little strategy update, looks like Sam just pitted a lap or 2 ago. He has the freshest tires on track. Not sure what compound he's got. Let me just check on that for you. Looks like he's on the blacks now. So a little strategy play to try and get himself back up into the front of this pack.
With some of these guys pitting earlier, are they throwing the kitchen sink at strategy, or is this something like maybe if I change the compound, I might be able to gain some time on these guys? Or are they thinking, as long as I change compounds, let's just ride this out to the end? But man, just under 30 laps. It's a long time on a set of tires.
Right. He was very fast in practice, so I think he just wanted a little clean racetrack and try and gain some time. It's a little bit early by my calculations for a stop. This is lap 11 or so. I think you need to get to 13 to make your first stop if you're going to make it to the end on reasonably equal stops. You really have to stretch those last 2 to make it from here.
And as you were breaking it down for us, Luke Daniels made a nice pass before making his way into turn 1. So he'll now take the lead, and he's already kind of putting the pedal to the metal. He's got a nice heavy left foot, and he's now kind of pulling away from Sean. You got to wonder if Sean's stuff's kind of going away with how much he was battling with Levi there for the last, I don't know, 14-ish laps.
We got 2 cars on pit road right now. Scott Segrist, Ian Wilson in 6th and 7th. We'll see what that looks like when everything cycles out. But yeah, this battle for the lead is fantastic to watch, Adam.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of pull away from it when these guys doing what they're doing. Levi might slightly be losing touch. I think you can give Sean Langton the oldest set of tires in the world. He'd probably make them work with how much of a wheelman he is. So he might be able to get up there and make a move on Luke. Now, you doing the IndyCar Series last year, watched you a lot. Pretty good with the strategy. Is there a way? They're all coming to pit road. But is there a way?
Yes, they are.
Is there a way to? I'm actually going to save this point. Remind me, is there a way? And I'll remember what I was doing. I do want to see what these guys do as far as stops go. So right here we have Sean Langton following in. I got to change my camera angle. They should maybe change compounds here. Not really sure.
Yeah, I see black for Luke, black for Sean, red for Levi.
So Levi makes the change. So that means the other two are probably thinking there's another stop.
Yeah, it looks that way. What you could try and do is stretch these blacks as far as you can and pit for a couple laps at the end for the reds. That would probably be what they're going to do right now.
Sean Langton.
Levi passes.
Yeah, Sean Langton forgets the harder compound is harder to get going. And he kind of slides through, what was that, turn 3? Turn 4-ish area. Slides through the corner, and so Levi pounces on that mistake to take that second position. But Luke Daniels, you would think, oh, he lost all this track time. Where did he go? No, he drove away from these guys. He's out there quite a ways, looking at about, he somehow gained 10 seconds on these guys.
Yeah, it looked like coming out of the pit road, the 7 and Levi were really close together, and it caused them both to slow down, allowing Luke to just drive away. What is it at the line this time? Probably going to be a 4 or 5 second lead.
The fluctuation has it around 11, but once we get to the line and they're all going the same constant speed, we'll get a real reading. And once I give you that time, that's when I'm going to ask that other question. I did not forget. Kept it on the back burner. Let it heat up a little bit. Yeah, about 5 seconds is probably the total amount of time they've lost. But how do you, on a road course, save tires? Is there a certain strategy you're looking at? Is there a certain... Are you changing your wheel presets or anything like that? What is something you can do to try to make these compounds last as long as possible? And if you could break down both compounds as well.
Sure, yeah. I'll preface this by saying I'm not a fantastic road racer by any stretch. This would be much better suited for one of the guys currently leading this race. But what I do to try and save my tires is I go a little easier on the brakes. I back up my braking zone, back up my corner. Big wiggle by Levi. Coming on back onto the oval there. And so I back up the entry, try and ease into the entry, and then I let the car roll through the center and try and accelerate as straight as I can off the corner and just not work the car laterally because that'll really save those rear tires. I find front tires don't wear out too bad in the IndyCar on road courses, but the back tires do. And it's really the same idea for reds and blacks. You just have to be a lot more careful on the reds as they wear out. Not quite exponentially faster, but a lot faster.
Kind of peeked back here to Brian Edwards, who is running in the top 10 now after some of these guys have made some strategy changes. Looks pretty clean. So I think he's fixed any damage if he had any, and maybe a new type of Firestone compound he's got there. Trying to find some close action. I know the 7 and the 53, we've had way too much camera time for them, but guess what? They're putting on a show. So I'm going to try to find someone else out here. Let's hop back here and look at Steve, who is racing with Christopher Freeze. I don't really want to change his name. It is his name, and it's what it says. So we'll go with Christopher Freeze. They're back here racing in, that's going to be for the top 5 spot. You see Scott in the 74 right there. He is in 5th. And in the 22, Christopher Freeze right behind him in 6th. And then you can't count out Austin right behind him, sitting that 7th spot. But it's really just those 3 guys fighting for that final spot to be in the top 5. And they've been pretty clean. I haven't seen them run into any issues thus far in this race. 18 of the 42 laps so far. And these 42 laps are going by pretty quick. With the pace we are going right now, it's only like 38 more minutes. Let that sink in. 38 more minutes of this race. The lack of cautions does help with that, but these guys are also have a bag full of tricks and way too much talent that I think that even if we did have cautions on, we wouldn't see any. All the wipeouts we've seen have been where they've somehow kept them pointed in the right direction. Tell you right now, I would have lost it, and probably would have quit by now, to be honest with you, Morgan.
Yeah, I definitely would have lost it, but I got to stick with it. I've had enough races on these road courses and Indy cars where it didn't go my way, but we stuck with it and pulled a top 10 out of it. So that's kind of the mindset you have to have if you're not Daniels, Sean, or Levi. Just stick with it. You never know what's going to happen in these last 30 or so laps.
See the 3. That's Brian Edwards. He's back on pit road. He was on a little bit of a different strategy on the basis of he had that little incident earlier in the race. So he had a pit. He's still on the lead lap for the time being. He's got a little bit of a little leadway here. He'll come back out and stay on the lead lap. So he'll have the freshest tires on track now.
Even though he got caught up in an incident, I do like where he is on strategy. It allows him to make it to the end pretty easily. So I'm not sure where he's been at for compounds to this point, but if he does have to do a little strategy cheese, as some people call it, and go for a 1-lap run on your last run, that might not work out too poorly for him. He might actually gain some time doing that.
And right here, Ryan Depew, the race scheme making machine. Got a little coverage of him here. A little orange speed action he's got on that. Little set scheme maybe. Got a little set sprinkled on there.
Yes, I have shared my logo with many people, and I'm very glad that a lot of these guys have put the logo on the car, whether it be the primary, secondary, or the website. Yeah, I'm very thankful that everyone's embraced the sponsorship as well as they have.
And Ryan does a great job of reaching out if he's ever in a race or feels like he can help out any of the broadcasts. He kind of sprinkles some wisdom to myself and Morgan. Even when Morgan's racing, he goes, "Here, guys, I got a little wisdom for you." He's probably one of the better leaders, if not the best leader in this league when it comes to helping everybody out. He doesn't care what team you're on or if you're racing against him for a championship. He's going to share the love and just go on track and try to beat you the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, definitely one of the nicest guys in this league. I am very glad that I met him and I'm part of his team. Actually, I'm in this whole VSRL, I think I said that right, league system because of him. We were doing officials at Daytona in the Indy car, and he drove right through me because he didn't see me. And funny story, but anyway, he got me an invite here, and we're all better off for it, I think.
Hey, I'm sorry I ran into you, but do you want to come race against me every week?
Something like that, yeah. That was that was his apology. I mean, obviously he apologized as he does. He's an awesome guy. But that was the extending of the olive branch. Hey, well, let's all get better at driving Indy cars. And yeah, here we are. If he can find a way, or any of the Orange Speed guys can find a way to really pick up the pace, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible tonight. That would be going for Orange Speed's win number 10 across the 2 series. So that'd be a cool milestone for one of these Orange Speed guys to achieve.
Yeah, and it's been mixed too with those wins. It hasn't been dominated by one driver. The wealth has been sprinkled when it comes to that. So at least the team is being even with how they're sending the cars out. It's not like, I don't know. I'm more into like the Cup Series. So if you looked at, say, a team like Joe Gibbs, where they're kind of like, yeah, you know, Christopher Bell, sure, and then they give all the wealth to Christopher Bell toward the end of the season. Y'all are nice and even. Everybody gets the same technology, huh?
Yeah, fixed setups help with that, certainly. And we all drive about the same speed, so that's kind of funny. But no, we definitely work well together as a team. It's been a lot of fun doing both of these leagues. And yeah, it's just nice to be competitive in a league setting, watching these guys.
Up. Did you forfeit?
I'm wrecked. I'm too much damage. We're done.
Oh, the worst message in all of iRacing.
This is a war of attrition.
Well, maybe.
Oh, one's off.
Yeah, we
turn
just
2.
I think that was
It's not a war of attrition of the top.
Christopher
fourth place
Freeze.
is off.
Yeah, Christopher Freeze, he's rolling, and I'm seeing a tire move around way too much. He's got to tow that one.
Yeah, he's on pit road now. Bomber, he was having a great run. I think he was in P4 when that happened.
So the halfway marker, I missed it, but the halfway sign was displayed at the flag stand. So at the halfway mark, a little through the field for you, the top 3, unchanged. The order might have changed. But out front, Luke Daniels still out front. Sean Langton in the 7. Right behind him, kind of, sort of, about 5 seconds back. Levi losing a little bit of time. He's sitting in that 3rd. We saw Christopher Freeze go off track, so he will not be in that 4th spot. So Scott Segrist in the 74 will now be in that 4th spot. And to round out your top 5, Austin Sarr will move up. And all the different strategies, Morgan, we're starting to see it kind of come to light here, how it might look like some of these guys are getting dominated by, say, Luke Daniels and Sean Langton, but everyone's trying something a little bit different. Do you see a certain strategy maybe starting to prevail here, or you think it's still just a giant waiting game to maybe the last couple laps?
It looks like majority of the top 8 are on the same strategy. They all have about 8 laps on their tires or so. The one I have my eye on right now is Steve Berube. He's got 15 laps on his tires, so he's going to have to pit pretty soon, but that should split this last run pretty much in half for him, giving him pretty much maximum freedom to do what he wants with compounds and stint lengths.
It's a lot of cars. We only have 13 active cars on track. I think the 7, he can get that. He can go to that backup car. Remember, in iRacing, there is such thing as a fast repair, so it completely repairs your car. So it's not like they go and unpack the hauler and bring you another car. It just automatically resets it for you. You might have to wait for the tow. So I do believe Christopher Freeze is doing that now. That's why he's sitting on pit road. So he'll get new tires, a new car, and be out there just like the race never stopped for him. So he might change the strategy himself with about 19 laps. He might kind of cut it in half, maybe go back-to-back reds to get some more grip for shorter runs.
Yeah, it's we're in an interesting place right now in this race. You can start to see the possibility of stretching it to one more stop from here, but it's going to be close. I know you can go 15 laps. I don't know if you can go much farther than that. So I would imagine here in the next 5 laps or so that people will be diving to pit road, getting that last compound, and going to the finish.
think I saw Brian completely slide through a corner and hit the wall. He did. Yeah, you see that left front Firestone is kind of glitching out. So I think it's messed up. It looks like the car is bouncing, so I think that is a live shot of what he's experiencing. So he'll come around and that'll probably end his night, because I think he's already used one fast repair. So that'll open up, I think, another spot in the top 10 where Garrett showed up. He said battle of attrition, and it's maybe starting to feel that way now. As more and more,
I agree.
As more and more of these guys start to fall off like this. And that's just... Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say there's been some really good rebounds in this race. We got to point out some guys like Austin, who had an incident early on. Sam had an incident early on. Kyle's been solid and steady here. Just need to point those guys out. I know some of the guys who run in the back half of the field don't get a lot of love sometimes, as the racing at the front is just so good. Just thought I'd shut those guys out. Back to you, Adam.
Yeah, for sure. Sam Hines, we've seen have 2 incidents today. He's on a little bit of a wackier strategy. I saw that he's now about 6 laps into this stint, so he's got a little bit fresher. So these guys got to stop one more time, and I think he will as well. Maybe he stops with those leaders and says, maybe I'll try to get you a speed, because like you said, in practice, he was throwing down some damn good laps at race pace, almost qualifying laps at race pace.
Yeah, he was down. He was top 3 on the speed chart almost every lap he was out there, which was really impressive to watch. He's capable of putting some laps together in the really low 1 minute 30-second bracket, which would definitely be 3 seconds faster than what's going on right now. They've fallen off quite a bit on this run. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let me hit this. It's not working, so I'm going to try this again. Exciting. There we go. Takes us back up here to Sean Langton, who is still losing time to Luke Daniels. Luke Daniels, it's only race 2, but he's kind of showing that he could be good on no matter what the track looks like, whether it's an oval or a road course. So I'm sure a lot of these guys that are like thinking that they had a really good chance at contending for a championship, and it's still early, so there's plenty of opportunities for anything to either go wrong or right for some of these guys. But he's making a statement right now.
Yeah, and this IndyCar League seems to be one that is dominated by a single driver each season. I think we all remember last season with Matt Brewer winning, it seemed like every week. And I believe the year before that, which was my first, I wasn't there the whole time, I believe Austin Sarr won majority of those races and walked away with the championship. So we could see it again this year. I mean, personally, I hope there's a little bit more parity than that. But yeah, I mean, all the power to him if he's able to come out here and walk all over everybody every week.
And speaking of Austin, we're now looking at him live. About 17 laps to go as he's fighting Scott Segrist now. They're starting to compete for that 4th spot. Scott trying to defend and Austin trying to take. They look pretty even here. I don't see one of these guys being better than the other.
What I see here, strategy-wise, is that beating time has started. It looks like Levi just pitted last lap, so he should be good to the end now. It's going to come down to those front 4. When do you pit? How well do you get on and off pit road? And what compound do you pick? I would assume it's going to be blacks for most of these guys. And can you hold off a hard-charging Levi?
Does Levi, since he was close enough to these guys, does he try, does he throw a massive wrinkle at these guys at all? Or is, now that he's kind of done his own thing, do you think he's just going to keep going that way?
I think he's probably got the, as Larry Mack says, he's got the hauler packed up and ready to go. There's no more pit stops for him unless something outrageous happens. If I was anyone in front of him, though, I would be watching what he's doing and how much he's gaining on you. He's got fresh tires. I think they're all on the same compound now. But he will be faster than them by probably a second or so a lap. So they really have to watch out and not lose too much time to him.
Sam Hines, so far, has thrown down the fastest lap He ran a 130.3. That's the best lap on track. I don't see anybody else in the 130s. Everyone else is a 131. So that's a flyer. But fastest on track right now is, it's going to be the 98 of Luke Daniels. Let's go back up there and let's check in on Luke Daniels and see what he's got cooking. Still pretty comfortable lead, I'd say he has here. He's just running his own race and making sure there's no mistakes. I don't want to jinx the man, but that's basically, I see right now, the only way, unless he messes up a strategy this later part of the race. But we expect to see him come in the next, I don't know, this is like there's 15 to go, so he might come in with, say, 13, 12 laps to go and take some reds.
Yeah, do we have a history of the stints he's been on? Has he touched reds yet this race?
No, I know he hasn't, because when he came in, he was still on that the blacks, and him and both Sean Langton, so both of them came in on blacks and left on blacks.
Yeah, that's going to actually set up quite an interesting finish here, because we know that the reds are quite a bit slower over a full run, a 13-lap run. They're really good for those first, 2, 3, 4 laps, but they start to fall off rather quickly. So this could open the door for Levi, who is on blacks and should be able to make it to the end from here, for him to maybe steal one here on pace. So this could be a pretty exciting finish here, Adam.
Yeah, Levi, fastest on track, at a pretty much an even 132. Just a couple extra numbers there at the end. He's the fastest on track. He's gained some time already. I've seen it's been about 3 seconds. It says I have to take that with a grain of salt because it's a changing interval with the road course. It's not as accurate as, say, the IndyCar you see on like NBC, but it's pretty decent. But it came in and he was sitting about a 52 to 53 seconds behind. He's got that reeled into a pretty constant 45 to about 39, and it's still dropping. So I think those tires are working for him right now.
Yeah, all he's got to do is just keep it straight, keep it smooth. The worst thing you can do right now is overdrive and catch him for the next 3 or 4 laps, but then lose for the rest because you overheated your tires. A lot of discipline it takes at this point in the race.
Yeah, you almost feel like you just have to go to try to cut down this interval as much as possible, but you don't want to cook those rears, like you were saying, how hot they can get and slick, to where if you do make up a bunch of time, you still have to contend maybe for a win here.
Yeah, catching him's one thing, passing him is something completely different.
You see, we're now rocking with Levi here. He's in 5th. We expect him to get a couple positions. Morgan, you were going to say something?
So I was going to say, to give you a reference of where they are on the track, leader just crossed the line now, and Levi's in the bus stop. So he's about half a lap behind on the oval side. So it's going to be, he's got to make up some time pretty quick. There is the pit stop still for the leaders, but it's going to be really close when they come out.
Sean Langton, I was about to say rocked a pretty quick lap, but then Levi blows that one out of the water with those fresher tires. So he is still making ground. He probably just feels like he is way too far away. Scott Segrist comes to pit road. Let's see what he does. What kind of compound is he going to end his race on? We will see when he leaves. He goes on reds. Pretty solid release. A little bit of a slip, but he'll be fine. He's going to lose that spot to Levi. Levi will pass him, which was kind of expected with how far ahead Levi was when he first came to pit road. So now Scott is going to try to keep defending and go back for that top 5. Sam, I also believe, passed him. Sam's now 12 laps on this run, so he's got to come to pit road anyway, so he'll probably give that spot right back. So Scott's still going to be holding on to a top 5 here.
Leaders on pit road right now.
He's got a massive lead. He can do it.
He sure can. Yeah, this should get him to the end for sure. We'll see. He's got to put on reds, so hopefully he can make them last and not have an issue like we could see some other guys have tonight when they put on the reds for the first time.
You see, Sean followed him in. So Luke presses Sean to make a move here, and Sean just decides to follow him in, which is probably the right decision. You see Levi went right around him. Levi with the better strategy, but guess what? Sean Langton, way fresher tires. Levi already 6 laps in on this stint, and there's still 12 to go. So he's making sure those tires hold on for as long as he can make them hold on. Austin Sarswell was on pit road. He's off, exited, and good to go. So we're going to wait till we go to the line. I don't want to give you false information and let this ticker get all caught up. Sitting here with Sean, make sure he doesn't overcook this turn like he did the last time. A little bit of a lapper in his way. Nothing he can't handle. And he'll drive right underneath him as he gets back out on the main track of Daytona. Yeah, the scoring's all kind of messed up. That's why I didn't want to throw y'all some numbers, but I think Luke had a much better stop yet again. So it looks like he might just know how to get on pit road a little bit better than a lot of these guys. And he's probably made up, I think he took the lead after his first pit stop. So he might just be a little bit better at the strategies and actually being able to manipulate his car into pit road in a smoother fashion compared to others.
There's lots of time to be gained on that braking zone going into pit road and then getting a nice straight launch off without spinning the tires. Levi has made up some time overall in this cycle, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It looks like he's still 7 back at the line. This looks like it's Luke's to lose at this point.
Yeah. I'm not going to jinx him by saying he's got this in the bag. But it would take a serious mistake, I think, for this one to kind of fall from out underneath him. So, your leader, Luke Daniels. You see here, whoa, let me try to speak English. You see him here on your screen. And then right behind him is Levi. Levi, not terribly far behind him. He's in striking distance if a mistake was to be made by the 98. And then farther behind him, you have Sean Langton, who's probably itching for another win. It's been almost, 2 weeks for him, so he's probably kind of fiending for a win at this point. We've seen him on Vector's television in that winning circle a lot. So he's probably fiending for another one. Back here in 4th, like I said, the whole flip-flop with Scott and Austin. Austin now takes 4th position. So pretty big rebound by him. From going 1st to about 9th, he's not going to rock that up to 4th. And it's not impossible for him to maybe strike on Sean Langton. He's on a different strategy by maybe a lap. So maybe he can make these tires, maybe he can press on these tires a little bit harder and make them last still. And maybe make up some time to try to crack a podium. And so that way we can speak with him after the race. Remember, after the race, we will speak to your top 3 finishers.
Yeah, and still, I have to commend these guys. Excellent rebound for Sam. I believe he was last at the end of lap 1 after a self spin in the infield area, up to 6th where he started. He never really got a great shake at this race, but he's still making it worth his time to be up here in the top 10. And Kyle Stewart, he's, from what I understand, he does not spend a lot of time driving the Indy cars. I think he's a dirt guy, dirt background. And he's up to 7th. Nice, steady race for him. So well done. And Christopher Freeze, I believe this is his debut in this series, and he's running 8th. Charlie Hamilton, also his debut, in 10th. Sandwiched in between them, Ryan DePew in 9th.
Ryan DePew, yet again, silent, quiet night, and still finds his way in the top 10 to get some solid points. He's pretty good at that.
He is. I compare him to Matt Kenseth quite a bit because they have a similar style. You never really hear about them until the pay window opens, and they're there every time, no matter what happens.
So let's see. Let's get everybody's so spaced out. I gotta give love. I don't know how. Let's do another look here. The 98. Maybe if I hit blimp, does it give me a good? That's a decent view. I'll take it. So the red car on your screen, that is Luke Daniels. Right behind him in this all black. At some point, he will show up on. There he is. That is Levi. So that is first and second, and then in third, right there now passing. Let's hit Levi, and then you'll see Sean Langton there on screen. And then there's a pretty big gap back to Austin. There he is. You saw Sean just kind of blow by at the top of your screen there. And then in fifth, Scott Seegers. He's right there as well. So he can also maybe pick up a position here. But your top 5 pretty spaced out. But they're also all on basically different tire strategies here. Only by a couple laps. But, I mean, a couple laps can mean a lot when it comes to the later half of a race.
Yeah, Sean and Austin are quite a bit faster than Levi and Luke, but they are also 13 and 24 seconds behind respectively at the line. So it looks like it's going to be between Luke and Levi. It's going to come down to how well those red tires can last over these last 7 laps or so for Luke.
Yeah, Levi's a little bit more consistent right now. Luke's last lap was about half a second slower than Levi's. So Levi's still putting in a little bit better, and that's just that you see that that compound, that red tire just kind of goes away, and like you said, it only takes about 2-3 laps, and then that edge you have is basically gone.
Yeah, I'm watching Sean here, and he is sliding all over the infield. Sean and Luke, if you'll remember, pitted on the same lap for the same compound. So I have to imagine Luke is feeling some of these same effects of a lack of rear lateral grip on first off on entry into the corner and on exit out of the corner. So this race for the lead might tighten up a little bit here.
Yeah, when he comes to the line, we'll do a whole lap ride along with Luke Daniels to see what he's doing. And then the very next lap, we'll hop on Levi's to see if we can tell a difference in those compounds and how they're riding around this track. So Luke Daniels comes to the line, so we're going to hop on there and see what his ride's like.
That last time, Levi and Luke ran almost identical lap times. So there is still speed in these red tires.
Yeah, Levi not going away though. He's still keeping it about that 5-second mark, where he kind of reels it into about 3.5 to he might lose about to 5.5, but he's still sitting around that little area there. Pretty safe cushion. Already you can see Luke Daniels just riding along. I can see on a lot of these turns, he's struggling to find that throttle. And it's not because he doesn't know where it's at. It's because if you get to it too aggressively, the longer this goes, those rears, man, they're cooked. They're hot. They're slick. They're picking up all kinds of debris that's on the track. It just gets a little slick out there. It's like driving on ice. So he has to be really careful with his throttle control, which is why there's those big bumps we were talking about through that back bus stop. You just have to be really mindful of your throttle control so you don't slip around. So a relatively really smooth lap for Luke Daniels.
Yeah, let's see what Levi has for us on this this next lap here. Different compound, as we've well documented. He's on the blacks here, so A little bit harder compound, not as much grip to start off with, but it should last a lot longer into the run. A little bit of a coast there into turn 1. That was interesting.
Yeah, it looks like Luke's a little bit better through this part of the track.
Levi,
yeah,
on this last lap, he lost about 3 seconds, so must have been a slip somewhere that caused him to fall back. Luke is having a fantastic race here. It looks like Levi coming back onto the oval here. It's almost like he's saving fuel with how much he's lifting going into some of these heavy braking zones. Got a car on the outside of him. I think he is lifting because that's Sean, I think, that just passed him. Did not see that coming. Looks like Levi might have pitted a lap or two too early. Which is a surprise to me. I thought that he was going to be able to make it, but we got, 4 laps to go here, I believe. And yeah, Sean has set sail on him. So I bet there's a pit in Levi's stomach right now. Luke Daniels currently in turn 1. I believe we're still riding along with Levi. I can't see the broadcast, so I'm hoping for the best here. Sean and Levi right now headed in turn 1, while Luke goes around the first horseshoe. There are only 10 cars still running on the track at this point, down from our 21 car field. A lot of calamity in the first couple laps if you're just joining us. Go back and rewatch those first 5 to 10 laps. There was incidents all over the place. We couldn't spot them fast enough. They were plentiful. Do a quick rundown. Luke Daniels is your leader. Sean Langdon in the 7 is in 2nd. Levi DeCairo in 3rd. Austin Sarr 4th. Scott Segrist in 5th. Sam Hines with a fantastic rebound in 6th. Christopher Fries in 7th in his debut. Kyle Stewart's in 8th. Ryan Depew 9th. Charlie Hamilton Jr. in his debut is 10th. Ian Wilson 11th. Ryan Edwards is 12th, Steve Berube 13th, Ross Phillips 14th, Joey is 15th, looks like Garrett 16th, Mario 17th, William Brennan 18th, Reed Jackson 19th, Matt Brewer 20th, and David Ankenbauer 21st, and that rounds out your field. There are 6 cars on the lead lap. And it looks like Levi's going to fall into the clutches of Austin here right away. And Scott is not too far behind. I've been plugged into the voice chat on iRacing, and I'm hearing the word fuel save right now, which means there's some nervous people out there. We've only got 3 laps to go, but some people might not make it, and that's nervous times as a driver. Because as you probably know, all these drivers currently are doing driver and crew chief duty. So they have to figure out their fuel mileage while they're driving around this Daytona International Raceway road course. It is not as easy as it sounds. I've been there, I've done that, I've made some horrible strategy calls myself, but it's part of it. See, Levi's using push to pass. There were 10 of those available in the race today. Austin Sarr goes by Levi into the bus stop. Each driver had 10 push to pass available. Gives you a bit of a boost. Oh, and Levi is around. Oh, he saved it. Excellent save. Push to pass is available 10 times. It gives you a little extra boost as long as you're 100% throttle. So you'd use it on either the oval corners or the backstretch or tri-oval here. And it does use a little bit more fuel. These guys will hammer on the button in practice just to kind of see what the car's got and try and one-up each other very competitive league we have here.
Yeah, we kind of forgot to bring that up. The whole push to pass thing we were talking about before the race, but that is a factor we kind of forgot to factor in. But how much of a benefit is that push to pass that you've noticed while racing in road courses?
Well, I'll tell you what, Adam, I've never been in a position where I've needed it.
You
I
just
don't
do
even
it. You
have
just
that
do it for
button
lap
bound.
times, huh?
Yeah, I don't even have that button bound on my wheel. I've never been in a competitive enough situation on a road course where it would be beneficial to me. I know a lot of guys do use it, especially if you're racing. Racing up in the top 2 or 3, trying to, make time your move against somebody off of a corner onto a long straightaway. But yeah, I've never personally used it. I don't know if you caught this while you stepped away, but there's some fuel saving happening right now.
Yes, I kept the headset on so at least I could hear. Had to take a phone call, step away, but hey, we're all good now, I guess. But yes,
Yeah, so
how nervous are some of these drivers now? Do you have an idea maybe on how many laps that is?
Well, Levi is very nervous because he didn't even he's not even braking into the bus stop. He's just letting it roll. And he's been doing this for the last few laps. So concerning times for him. He was second, about 10 seconds back. And now he's 23 seconds back in fourth. And he could lose. I think actually Scott just passed him. So he's now fifth.
He's got a big gap back to Sam, though. So he's got time if he wants to use it.
Yeah, he lifts at the line for turn 1. That's a nervous sight.
You really hate it for someone that's had a really good night where he's been up front leading, been in contention and battling in that top 3 basically all night long, other than pitting and falling back to about that 5th position before he made some ground up. To fall a little bit short on fuel, that's got to be upsetting as a driver.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, tough pill to swallow, definitely. And I mean, I thought really it was a good move. I guess 15 or 16 is a pretty hard cap. I thought there was a little bit of wiggle room on top of that. I got to feel bad for the kid if it doesn't turn out for him, because he did have a whale of a race here tonight.
We saw one kind of get off track there. I think that was Stewart. He's now rolling, so we're all good and cooking there. But with Luke Daniels coming to the line, that's going to make it 1 lap to go from Daytona on the road course. Luke Daniels been really calm. Haven't seen a mistake out of him yet through the first 2 races. He's here making an absolute statement that he's here to outduel these guys no matter on what the circuit is. Oval, road course. Heck, do we have any other shapes out there that Garrett might throw at these guys? A little drag race, straight line speed? I don't know. But
Triangle later in the year.
Yeah, I guess the triangle. So we have oval, triangle, and this. But he's here having fun, showing these guys what he's got. He's going to pull away to about over 10 seconds now to that second place. No surprise who's in that top 3. Sean Langton with him. And then your pole from today was Austin Sarr. He's in that 3rd spot, trying to keep it away from Scott Segrist. But Luke Daniels, through the bus stop, the final time today at Daytona. He comes out on track. Absolute statement. Strategy was great. We thought maybe 2 stops, but guess what? It turned out to be 3. He saved the Reds for last and made his way through the track, battled Levi, and takes the win at Daytona. And way back here, we'll pick up Sean Langton. He'll take that 2nd spot on the podium, P2 tonight. And to finish 3rd, you see that, the 213. That's Austin Sarr. That's going to be your top 3 for your podium tonight. We'll do a little victory lap cruise with Luke Daniels. But tonight, what did you see overall, and what did you take note of after watching the completion of the 53 laps tonight? Morgan.
I am surprised at the carnage of this race, to be honest with you. I thought there was going to be a lot more cars that finished this one. It got away from quite a few
10 of them
drivers out there. Yeah, like half the field finished, which was kind of surprising. I mean, I thought there was going to be a lot more just cars throughout the field, but not in this one.
Yeah, and here we are. Week 2. And another check mark for Luke Daniels. He's got to be loving where he's sitting right now, this early season lead.
Yes, it is a great feeling to win the first race, and it's an even better feeling to win the first and the second race. You really cannot start off any better than what he's done, and he'll be looking to capitalize. I believe Nashville is the next race we're at, so we'll be looking to put on a show there as well.
So let me, I guess I'll throw the blink, or oh, he's going to burn it down. An interview while he burns it down? I don't see why. Let me move the right guy up here. But burn it down while we interview. I like it. Luke Daniels, back to back, man. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty great, actually. I was not feeling confident at all going into this race, but I guess sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Man, I guess you finished, or where'd you start? Would you start 4th? So, I mean, you didn't qual probably as high as you thought you would, maybe. But you were just probably the cleanest car on track. No mistakes visually that we could see. And you somehow just managed to set sail and put your signature at the bottom of it to wrap up your win.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Langton there was definitely faster than me. Austin Sarr probably was too, but then he got he made a mistake, got some damage, and Langton spun, and then I saw Levi came in, I think a lap too early on fuel. I want to say it was like 17 laps to go, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if he can make it because I wasn't able to get to 16. But you know, it worked out. We survived turn 1 and that first lap hairiness. Gave up some spots there, but you know, just trying to think big picture and keep my nose clean because I know how badly these tires fall off, and I knew it was going to be tough to keep them under me. So yeah, just try to go mistake free and see where I end up.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, what was your thought process on switching up your compounds? I saw you started on blacks, then you went back to the blacks, and then you ended the race on the reds. Was there a thought process there?
Yeah, my thinking was, you know, we started like late afternoon. The track temp's going to be going down throughout the race. It's going to be taking rubber and stuff, and that's going to help your reds last a little bit longer. And also, I wanted to I was hoping to try and extend those black stints a little bit more. I was actually wanting to do a 3-stop, but I ran into the tire limit issue, and I had to do that full 12-lap stint on the reds there. But yeah, that was my thinking. I figured, you know, if I have to do 12 laps on them, it's going to be easier to do that at the end of the race than the beginning. So I'd rather, you know, save that for the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Morgan, you want to add anything?
No, just want to say congratulations. That was clearly the right call to save the tires that wear the most for the end. You looked pretty stable at the end. I know there's some other guys behind you on reds that were a little squirrely in the infield section. We didn't see that out of you, so congratulations. 2 for 2. Go try to make it 3 for 3 next week.
All right, thank you.
And that's your... Why can't I find Discord? There's Discord. That was your race winner, back-to-back, Luke Daniels. And you probably know this guy if you follow Vectors Television. We're going to speak with him yet again. It feels like a broken record, but guess what? Sean Langton. Man, you got a copy?
Gotcha.
Well, I know you haven't won in a while, so you're probably itching and fiending, scratching at your arm, thinking, man, how can I get more dubs pumped into my veins? But you're still showing some great talent out there. You're just falling just a little bit short, whether it be strategy or just how the race unwinds for you.
Yeah, it was a fun race. The car was really fun on this track. I learned a lot on the first stint. The second stint, I think I was one of the faster cars, maybe besides Austin. and I was reeling them in, and just got a little too greedy and looped it on my own, and that was about it for that.
Yeah, and it also we saw you got a little bit squirrely when you trying to change the tires up when you went to your second set of the black compound. You got a little loose through 3 and 4, that middle part of the infield. Was that one of the defining moments maybe for you to kind of lose touch of Luke Daniels?
I think that wasn't it. When I came out of the pits after my first stop, I completely forgot about cold tires and just drove off in the first horseshoe. And then I looped it once coming onto the oval, and I looped it once in the horseshoe when I was reeling them in. But it was fun, very tricky combo, and looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, man. Well, congratulations. I know second isn't quite what you wanted, but you're adding on to the points to where you can still keep in touch of Luke Daniels as we battle the rest of the season. So you get to break me in. So your parents watch every race.
Yep.
Did you just throw them the stream and now they're just your number one supporters?
Yeah, they love it. They enjoy it. I run a couple different series, and they watch them all, and they really enjoy me seeing me out here running.
Well, I appreciate
Say hi to
them.
them, give them a shout out.
Yeah, I appreciate them every week. I see it. Go 7, go Sean. Sean's the best. I mean, they really make sure that you feel the love. So, yeah, big shout out to them. Thank you so much for tuning in every week. And Sean, you got anybody else you want to thank? And you got any sponsors maybe you want to throw out there?
No sponsors, man. I'm
How? How do you have no sponsors yet?
make it happen for me, man.
I know
don't
someone.
There you go. Yeah, we'll make it work. I'm easy. I'm cheap. No, I'm just out here having fun, man. This is one of my hobbies, and I just enjoy running with good competitors, and that's what it's all about. And this league has a lot of that, and I really enjoy the respect everyone gives, and just look forward to each week.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for yet again coming out and racing with these guys. Everybody loves you. You have no bad blood with anybody, which is awesome. It means a lot of you. So thanks again for joining me up here in the booth. I enjoy it. It feels like it's a weekly thing, almost daily thing now that I'm doing 2 times a week. But until next time, hey, congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you, and hi to my parents at home. Appreciate you watching.
So that's your second
that
place
was-
finisher. What was that?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and that's our second place finisher, Sean. We'll have to start calling this little segment here Sean's Corner as we talk to him every single time.
I
mean,
know, and it's
give
not
someone else a chance, man.
It's not a bad thing. He's just that talented. But hey, you know what, Morgan? I'll give you the next one. I'm gonna bring him up here. But hey, third place. He's all yours.
Sounds good. Hello, Austin Sarr. Third place finish. Congratulations. Tell me about it. How'd it go?
You know, we were on a good strategy to begin with, just a little bit too much on the throttle on that exit at International Horseshoe early on. I picked up a little bit of rear wing or diffuser damage off of that rail, and fighting that for that first stint was just a pain. I had to hang on to the back of that group to try and keep a little bit of pace, wait for that fast repair, because between tires we didn't have enough to make an extra stop plausible in the first place, so I had to stay out. And then I wanted to stay out longer because I knew the reds dropped off. After about 4 laps, they dropped about 1.5 seconds. And I just wanted to make it to that first pit stop and then use everything I could to get a good recovery race going, and made the podium on it.
Yeah, it was a terrific recovery. I think you fell back to about 9th when you had that damage that you mentioned.
I
But
think so.
Yeah, you steadily worked your way through the field. I mean, blistering pace, obviously, as we expect from you every week, as you're one of the best drivers in this league. But yeah, you worked your way back up to a podium. Yeah, big time. Congratulations on that. It takes a lot of perseverance to do that. Any sponsors or anyone you want to thank?
I don't know if I really want to thank my teammate Luke Daniels, but we go back and forth all the time over strategy. We both have engineering type backgrounds, so we're back and forth on data and like looking at what stuff's going up. And that's kind of what pushed our strategies tonight and why we took tires when we did. Was we were looking at, race start times and tire degradation and where that's all going to play in. So I mean, it's nice to have a teammate to talk to, but he's won both races so far. I don't know if I can be terribly happy with him. Other than that, primarily right now, I'm running things out of my own Discord server, 10tenths. Basically running under the 10tenths Racing banner. Discord link actually on the side of my car, or super easy, discord.io/10 word tenths, no spaces, dashes, or any of that fun stuff in it. Just type it in, it'll take you right there.
Love a good sponsor plug. Great to talk to you. I'm sure we'll talk to you a lot this season. But congratulations on the podium finish at the Daytona Road
Thank you.
Course.
It was definitely a hard fight one, but it was worth it.
Anything from you, Adam?
No, man. That's about gonna wrap it up, man. I appreciate you stepping into the booth and helping me and lead me. 'Cause sometimes I get a little crazy up here, start taking naps, as Ross always says. So, not today. With you, I was awake the whole time. Emergency phone call, you took the lead. Guess what? If that happened any other week, it's just silent and awkward. So, appreciate you for being here of all night, especially the one where emergency phone call comes in. But I don't think I am here until, I want to say, Atlanta later in the season. I'm checking the message from Garrett he just sent me. I'm thinking Atlanta's the next time I'm here for the IndyCar. But, yeah, man, 2 weeks in a row. Luke wins in pretty dominant fashion, basically. So he's making a statement on how his season is going to go. But it's still early. A lot of stuff can happen. But until the next time you see us, which is me next Monday, where you'll see Morgan Cook, Garrett Helmlinger, Ross Phillips, and Sean Langton battle for a truck championship in Las Vegas, where they're going to be gambling, maybe with some strategies, or just absolutely sending it around the outside, turn 4 for a win. But until then, that is about it from VSRL. That's Vectors Television for a lot of you on YouTube. Yet again, thank you, Morgan, for the sponsor. Gives us at least a good name on the trophy. Southeast Tutoring hopping on board, taking the lead. Tonight you saw Southeast Tutoring Indy Car Series. Monday, Southeast Tutoring Truck Series. But until then, Morgan and Adam are signing out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a great night.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.